Okay. Spirit tells me I turned the camera off too soon, so I'll continue. But meanwhile, I'll throw in this one technical piece. I use the Logitech webcam, and I haven't done anything special with it, but for some reason, it's making very large files of my videos. The 20-something minute one I just did is like 715 megabytes. I mean, if I spoke for 30 minutes, it would probably be a gig. And that's too much. I don't need anything like that. I push the button to return all the settings to default. It's just making WMVs. So if anyone knows what's going on and why it should be making files that are so big, let me know. Okay, so life as that embrace. I hope there are those among you that are in heart that can hear this. I think my very first video I tried to share with you, I am a mystic. And this is kind of what I mean when I look at life. I don't see what other people see. I see it through different eyes, different perspective or perception. But it's nothing special to me. Each one of us comes in meant to sing our own song. Why else would we have individuals and individual being, or the appearance of that, if we were all the same, meant to be the same? That cookie cutter thing, what if all the birds in the forest only sang the top 10 tunes? In our core, we know life is not that. And there's full and pure divinity manifest in and as each one, each blade of grass, each rock, each tree, each everything, certainly each human being. And we aren't meant to have the monopoly on divinity, on truth, on virtue, on anything. We're all one. And as a collective, as a whole, we enrich one another tremendously. And so each one shines in their own way, and it's up to us to connect inside to find out what is the way that we shine. What's your way? Maybe it will find its way into words, into videos, into writings, but maybe not. Ultimately, it's in the beingness. It's in simply being that, being true to that, finding and following your joy. Even, I realize now that those renunciates, those yogis, off sitting in caves in the mountain fastness, they make a difference. They really do. There is no separation. There is no real distance. All is one and all is now, so all is instant. There's an appearance of time. There's an appearance of space or distance. But that's an appearance, and that's on one level only. And we exist across all of the levels. And so we're more flexible than that. We can see it that way, but that's not all. And we're not limited. And it's been our beliefs that have been doing the limiting. I just recently shed a massive layer of the energy of worthlessness. And so, and we have fears of every kind. One of the ways they manifest is worry over money. That's a fear. That's a non-trustingness in the journey. Maybe that's an identity with body, with mind. I don't know, but you do. At the heart of us, each one knows everything. Now, getting to that, getting full access of that is, of course, another story, another matter, not a story. But it's there. And there's a knowingness within that it's there. And maybe if we can all just look at it and say, okay, it's there in potential, but accept the there-ness of it. Accept the reality of it, the presence of this divinity. That's a big start. Because in the acceptance, things within us, within our subconscious and so on, that oppose that object to that, they will come forth. And as they rise in your consciousness and you have this or that thought or feeling, sensation or whatever, take a look at that. That's all. You don't have to be so brilliant that you know what it is, where it came from, and what to do with it. Again, that would be mind. Safely ignored. You're using your wings now. Heart has wings and can soar above and beyond all past attainment, understanding, and momentum. Heart has wings. And as we abide there and just look, our vision is turned within. So we're looking at self. Only later will we be able to look outside and realize that we're still looking at self. We walk after we crawl. And yet it's still soaring to look within and to be watching. And so something rises in consciousness and we just look at it. We make space for it. We don't fight it. We don't reject it. We don't suppress it. We don't object to it. We don't criticize it, etc., etc. We just be with it and observe. And the teaching just flows, your inner self. I don't know, is it where you plug into ultimate divinity? All of this stuff is just words. And I think words do more to limit what it is than they do to bring it forth. But that's where we are now. We're still using words. Not too far down the line, we'll be working with telepathy and be able to transfer much more of the understanding than is presently available now. But I tell you, if you're in heart, when you watch life, when you observe and when you listen here, you're already perceiving a whole lot more. We're all already present on all the dimensions, all the layers and levels. Oh, I know what I'll share with you. On Anelia's site, her website's a little bit like a blog, she just has this or that topic and she'll write a few pages. And she talks about ascension and what it is and what it isn't. It isn't some big rescue, or it isn't all the good guys disappearing and the bad guys going to some kind of hell. It isn't this, that, she has some fun with it. But she talks about, as we ascend in consciousness, she says, we're already on the 4th, 5th, 6th, all those dimensions, wherever we're headed, we're already present there. as I often say, and we never left. What we left was our awareness of that. And so she talks about how we're expanding out into that. And I love her analogy. She uses the analogy of a baby, a 1-year-old. Does the 1-year-old know that it lives in a city? And what are all the services and shops and things available all around it? Of course it doesn't. The 1-year-old doesn't even know yet that it lives in a house. You know? Its consciousness is not ready to contain that, and there's a rightness to that. There's nothing wrong with that. And so, as we expand, there's a rightness to that as well. And so, we expand out to contain more of that which we already are. And I think that kind of transfers it nicely. You know, we're not 1 year old anymore. And so we're ready to expand out into higher dimensions. And yet, at the same time, we're already present there. So in a way, it's like waking up to them. And isn't it nice to know that in the heart, you know that you're already perfect, one with all that is. And the journey becomes a joy, finally. It's been tough, seeming and being limited here in 3D and being forced down into the linearity of that. That's not native to our souls, to our beings. And it's been tough. It's been a challenge. It's been very painful. And the joy now is that though we still have this presence in 3D, and though there's still war and hatred and cruelty and abuse on the planet, and we're one with that too. Sometimes when you have pain inside, sometimes when you have a feeling or something come over you, it's nothing personal. We're plugged into that. Expand out. Use your wings. Expand out more into the awareness. Identify less with that which is physical and more with that which is spirit. And along with the empaths who were forced into it by the intensity of the feelings they would perceive, they were more open. Well, we're plugged into all of that too. And sometimes when you're having a hard day, it really has nothing to do with you. You're a light being. You came here to hold the balance, to anchor light in this planet so everyone else could make it. And I think there are beings that serve in higher dimensions, if you will, at higher levels, that seek to equalize and bring balance as well. That's what we're here for. And their service is to sometimes funnel the energy that's difficult and painful and not being handled well by others, to funnel it through the willing heart of the light being who on higher levels volunteers and says, yes, I'll transmute that. I'll be there. And in the flame and in the intensity of the fire of this heart, I'll process that. And so it goes through us. And the challenge perhaps is not to identify with that. Even with your feelings, certainly with your thoughts, don't be so personal. Don't think it's you. That's to identify with it. Spread the wings of heart and soar with spirit. And let your own inner teacher impart the understanding that's the need of the moment for you. Always, always, in this now moment, is your most precious gift that could possibly be given. This is the love with a capital L that is divine, that is source. That perfect love is manifest in each now, distinctly and individually for each one. And it's manifest in the plethora of what the eyes capture as we look out there. And we see what we think is separation, individual rocks, trees, people, and things. But it's not. It's source. Dancing the dance of love with you and me. There. That's the completion. See you soon. See you always. Be in heart.